All right, let's talk about something that just completely shook up the AI world. I mean, one minute, everything's business as usual. The next, a single model release comes out of nowhere, blindsides the tech giants, and basically hands a whole new set of superpowers to the entire open source community. Yeah, we are talking about GLM 4.6V.
You know, that quote, it's not an exaggeration. That's pretty much exactly what it felt like when ZPU AI dropped this thing. You had all the big labs, getting ready for their next big, fancy, paid product launch, and then, bam! This release just comes along and changes the entire game. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. What is this model? How does it actually work? And most importantly, why is it such a massive deal for the future of AI agents?
Okay, so to really get why this was such a bombshell, you kind of have to understand the landscape, right? The battlefield. For months now, the entire industry has been in this frantic, all-out race to build the next generation of AI agents. We're not talking about just chatbots here. We're talking about tools that can actually do things for you. And you have the usual suspects, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, all scrambling, all preparing their next big play.
And the status quo was, well, it was pretty clear. The really powerful AI, especially the models that could see and understand the visual world, was kept behind lock and key. It was all proprietary. So if you were a developer, a startup, a researcher, and you wanted access to the cutting-edge vision tech, you had to pay up. Big time. This created this massive wall, a huge barrier for anyone trying to build the next cool thing. The whole community was just sitting there, waiting for someone, anyone, to come along and just smash that wall down.
And then, it happened. Seemingly out of left field, an unexpected challenger did exactly that. ZPU AI dropped GLM 4.6V. And let me tell you, this wasn't just some minor update. Oh no. This was a calculated, strategic move designed to completely flip the board and upend the entire status quo.
And their strategy was just so clever. See, they didn't release just one model. They dropped two. First, you've got the big one, GLM 4.6V. It's a 106 billion parameter monster, a mixture of experts model built for pure raw performance in the cloud. But then, they also gave us the Flash version. This one's a lean, mean 9 billion parameter model that's so fast and efficient, you can literally run it on your own machine. It's this brilliant 1-2 punch, right? You get maximum power and total accessibility.
But here it is. This is the real knockout blow. The part that made everyone's jaw hit the floor. Both models are fully open source with an MIT license. Now, why is that so critical? Because it means anyone. I'm talking a student in their dorm room, a small startup, a massive corporation. Anyone can download this, tweak it, build on it, and ship it in their own products with zero restrictions. No enterprise fees, no strings attached. That is what true democratization of AI looks like. And as if that wasn't enough, check this out. The model has a massive 128,000 token context window. So, what does that number actually mean in the real world? Well, think about it like this. It can process and remember an entire hour of video footage. Or it could read through like 150 pages of super dense financial reports, and it does it all in one go. This just unlocks a whole new level of analysis that was, frankly, impossible for most people before this.
Okay, but the specs, as impressive as they are, aren't even the whole story. The real magic, the secret sauce, is the core technical breakthrough happening under the hood. This is the thing that really separates GLM 4.6V from, well, pretty much everything else out there.
It all boils down to this one idea, and you're going to hear this a lot: native multimodal function calling. I know, it sounds a bit technical, but trust me, this is the absolute killer feature. It represents a fundamental change in how an AI agent actually interacts with the world. It's the leap from an AI just describing what it sees to an AI acting on what it sees. So think about how things used to work. The old way was clunky. To get an AI to do something with an image, it had to go through this awkward little dance. First, it would see the image, say a chart. Then it would have to describe that chart using text, OCR. Then it would use that text description to call whatever tool it needed. The problem? Every single time you translate from a picture to words, you lose something. You lose nuance, the exact colors, the layout. All that rich visual data just gets lost in translation. It was slow and it was super inefficient.
But now, GLM 4.6V just throws that whole process out the window. It's a totally new way of thinking. The visual data itself, the actual pixels, gets passed directly to the tool. There is no text middleman. The model literally sees the screenshot and just acts. And what's even cooler is that the tool can then return a visual back, like a new chart or an edited screenshot, and the model can just keep working with that new image. It closes the loop. We've gone from text to tool to true vision to tool. It's a huge leap.
So, okay, that's the theory, right? It sounds cool. But what does this vision to tool thing actually let you do in the real world? Well, this is where things go from being just technically impressive to, honestly, genuinely jaw-dropping.
Just look at some of these capabilities. And this isn't just a boring list of features, okay? Each and every one of these points represents something that was either insanely difficult or flat out impossible for an open source model to do with any kind of reliability. Let's just dive into a couple of examples to show you what I mean.
Okay, for any developers watching, this is an absolute game changer. You can feed this thing a screenshot of any website, and it will spit out the high-fidelity HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to replicate it. Pixel perfect. But that's not even the magical part. The magic is what comes next. You can take that website it just created, draw a circle around a button on the screen, and just type, hey, move this over here and make it blue. The model understands the drawing and edits the code for you. It's a totally interactive design loop, all powered by vision.
And remember that huge context window we talked about? Here's where it really shines. Imagine you have the annual reports for 4 different companies. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of pages of dense text, charts, tables, the whole shebang. The model can swallow all of that whole in one single pass, pull out the key metrics you care about, compare them across all 4 documents, and then build you a nice, clean summary table. That's not just processing a document, that's having true global awareness of the entire dataset at once.
All right, so you can have all the coolest features in the world, but it all comes down to 2 things, right? Does it actually perform, and can anyone afford to use it? If the answer is no, then it doesn't really matter. Well, as you're about to see, Glm 4.6V absolutely delivers on both, and honestly, the numbers are pretty shocking. Just take a look at this. This is the Web Voyager benchmark, which basically tests how well an AI can go out and use websites on its own, like a real agent. And look at the sheer dominance here. Glm 4.6V hits an incredible 81%. Its main open source rival, QN, is way back at 47%. That is not just a little bit better, that's a massive gap. This isn't just a win, it's a statement that this model was built from day one to be an agent.
And then you have the price. This is where it gets kind of crazy. The Flash version, the one you can run yourself, the API for it is free. Just let that sink in for a second. Completely free. And even the giant 106 billion parameter model is only $1.20 per million tokens. Now compare that to something like Claude 3 Opus, which is $90 for the same amount. See what I mean? ZPoo AI isn't just trying to compete on price here. They're trying to completely reset the entire market.
So when you start putting all the pieces together, you've got the completely open source license, you've got that game-changing vision to tool breakthrough, you've got the S-tier performance, and then you have that insane market-breaking price. It becomes really, really clear. This isn't just another model release. This is a genuine turning point for the entire field of AI.
Look, this release does so much more than just shuffle a few names on a leaderboard. It literally hands the keys to the kingdom of advanced AI agent development to everyone. It's giving the entire open source community this incredibly powerful, unrestricted toolkit to go build things that we probably haven't even dreamed of yet. And you better believe it puts a ton of pressure on the big closed source labs. They have to either open up their own tech or innovate way, way faster. It fundamentally shifts the race away from just who has the biggest model to who can build the most capable, accessible, and actually useful agents. And so that brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? For the very first time, the kind of powerful tools that the tech giants have been promising us are now open, they're accessible, and they're in the hands of a global community of creators and developers. A tsunami of innovation is about to be unleashed. The only real question left is, what happens next? What are they going to build?